Happy Sunday. Welcome, Simon's Trading Channel. Hope you've had a great weekend. Let's get on with some price action analysis. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. So starting off with weekly on the Mighty Bitcoin, you can see here, it looks probably a bit like a complicated screen, but it's not really. It's a weekly time frame from the current macro low at the start of the bull run back in December 2022 to current time. And then there's an RSI at the top and the MACD at the bottom. So this is a screen full of price action, momentum, and volatility. And the interesting thing about this bull run so far, and actually weekly timeframes historically with regards to an RSI, is you tend not to see RSI readings below sort of 40 to 45 if it's a bull run. So if it's generally upsided, excuse me while I pick my nose, price action. And that makes sense, right? Because RSI reflects the profitable nature of the price action compared with historical price action. It's a strength indice, right, or index even, and I'm not going to go into how it's exactly calculated because I probably don't know. I know roughly how it's calculated, but clearly, generally, if it's above 50, then you know you're profitable. And on this weekly time frame, the number that you see a lot of support for the RSI come in around is somewhere between 40 and 45. And if you just look at the RSI up here for this whole bull run, so starting over here, as soon as it got above that 40, 45 reading, it remained above there. And probably the best times to get into the market if you missed the initial input down here, which I'm sure most people did, I certainly did, would be when the RSI gets back down to that 40, 45 read. Those tend to be the times when it's best to get back in to the bull run, as long as the bull run's continuing. And you can see another one occurred. So it was 2 weeks ago, it got down to, the RSI got down to around 45, something like that. It's not an exact reading, and it's bouncing from there. Now, you know, you may not just get price going to the moon from where it is at the moment, but as long as the bull run continues, having RSI reading down around here is likely a good place to be getting into a long trade or indeed buying. However, this is not financial advice, so don't take it as such. You can also see it from a momentum point of view on the weekly. The MACD remains above the zero line. It does still have downside posture though. It will continue in a red harem scarum manner as long as Bitcoin's below 95 on a weekly time frame. So it's got some work to do. The midpoint of the Bollinger Band is also around that area, around that 94, 95 area. And so in this period of time where volatility is constricting, as you can see on a weekly time frame, it has been ever since here. So volatility has been cooling off for many weeks now. While price remains below the midpoint of the Bollinger Band, if volatility picks up, well, that'll be a downside move. That goes against momentum at the moment, and you know, general market sentiment. Market sentiment's not great at the moment, but I'm not getting the feeling. Well, the price action doesn't tell me that the bull run is over. Timing wise, it doesn't feel right for the bull run to be over, and probably when the US sorts itself out with regards to tariffs and the greater geopolitical environment, markets will pick up and there'll be another run to the upside, probably. But just from a pure price action analysis point of view, and the way I look at price action on this weekly time frame, we need to see a weekly closure back above somewhere between 93 and 95. And then volatility has got a good chance to expand to the upside. That's the weekly. Went on a bit there. Jumped straight down to a 4-hour, so one extreme to the other. So quite a long period of consolidation, sort of sideways and up here, within a downtrend though on the 4-hour. So bear that in mind because trend is your friend. On the very low time frames, it's an uptrend. So, you know, there's this kind of like juxtaposition a little bit. you can see that the 4-hour over the last, well, week or so has been in an uptrend, but it's not a very impulsive one. Each move up has almost been retraced, but not quite. So it has been setting in higher lows, and it's in a very low volatility environment right now. Look how narrow those Bollinger Bands are. And the good thing is the price is above the midpoint. So if volatility did expand from here, it's likely to be an upside move. Will that upside move put in a higher high on the 4-hour? Well, to do that, it needs to get above sort of 87. So we'll see. Momentum is hanging on to upside positioning, but it's very close to the midpoint, so it's slightly fragile. I'll get rid of the RSI now. Will I? No, I won't actually. So there are a sequence of higher highs at the moment on the price here. Depending on what happens on this next move to the upside, if indeed it occurs, if price does indeed get above this high here on the 4-hour, but the RSI doesn't get above that reading there of 70, then there'll be some regular bearish divergence on the 4-hour, which would likely beget just more of this kind of sideways and up price action. But we'll see, right? That's in the future, and I don't know what the future holds. So for now, probably no great shakes on the 4-hour. Excuse me, but if you were to hold my hand to the fire, I'd probably say an upside move first. Daily. Now, daily's really hovering around in a slightly, not precarious, in an indecision environment, I would say at the moment. It's right on the midpoint of the Bollinger Band in a declining volatility environment. Momentum still to the downside, but it is, making its way back to the midpoint. And there was some bullish divergence on this daily time frame that came from these two lows here, with this higher low on an RSI. Now, has that played out? Well, probably not. But what I would like to see, and would I like to see this? I don't know if I'd like to see this or not, but if price action did come down and closed lower than 76, but the RSI held up above this last reading of 31 or whatever it was, then that would be 2 runs of bullish divergence on the daily. And I think that might give price impetus to do a real upside move and hopefully get back above the levels of around 95, between 93 and 95 that I was talking about on the weekly time frame. So yeah, sort of indecision. It's all a bit uninspired at the moment on the lower time frames. The higher time frames to me are still within trend, and that trend is to the upside. So I don't think any big dramas. I'm still waiting for my trade indicator to print another buy, which is quite far away from at the moment. That's coming in around 97. But obviously, as every day closes, because this is a daily time frame, this line works its way close to price action. So in a way, I want price action to take its time thinking about this move, because then my entry back into a long will be closer to where price action is, and that's clearly better. The overall bull bear positioning is still very much in a bull market, as you can see here, and to even test that area, Bitcoin would have to, bring wicks down to 71.5. Personally, I just don't see that happening as of the price action at the moment, but I may be wrong. Let's see what happens. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. That'd be marvelous. And join me next time for another one of my price action analysis videos. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, my friends. Bye-bye.